Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And earlier today, I thought I would be making a very different video about this, but I was pleasantly surprised. So it's been no secret lately that the entertainment industry and China have been having a lot of PR backlash because of a lot of things that have been said over the course of various mediums, including the NBA, video games, television, and a lot of it has had to do with the U.S. media bending the knee to China so that they could get the money that they want to give us for our entertainment. Um, and unfortunately, it's basically South Park has been the only kind of guiding light up until now, where they have basically said, F you to China, we're going to make fun of you because this is America and we can make fun of whoever the hell we want. We don't give a shit if you give us money or not. And unfortunately, organizations like the NBA and Blizzard Entertainment are not doing that because they're shilling out for that Chinese money. But today we started getting reports that China was pulling Quentin Tarantino's new movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood short of its October 25th release date in that country. Now, there's been speculation over why it was being pulled. Apparently, the leading theory currently is that Shannon Lee, the daughter of the late Bruce Lee, who was portrayed in the film by Mike Moe, is and who is not portrayed in a very positive light, let's just say that. She had a problem with his portrayal. She said that he was basically, they made him look like a pompous douchebag. And she then made an appeal to the Chinese authorities, or the Chinese film board, or whatever you want to call it, to have the film pulled because of its depiction of Lee, who is of Chinese heritage. Now, we don't know exactly if that was the reason why it was pulled, because the Chinese government did not give a reason, because they don't give a reason. They're a communist totalitarian government. They don't give a shit about giving reasons to anybody. And Sony Studios, who is the studio behind the film, refused to comment, or did not have a comment. Now, early reports were saying that the instances with Mike Moe would be re-edited to make him appear in a far better light so that they could appeal to Chinese audiences. And there really wasn't any kind of differentiating between that. That story initially broke very early this morning, 2 a.m. early. But then earlier this afternoon, Tarantino issued a statement that said he would not re-edit his film for the Chinese audiences, and he had a similar situation with the release of Django Unchained in China, where Django it made it to opening night. It went to all the theaters, but only minutes into its opening, it was pulled because a leader in the Communist Party did not like the graphic violence in the film and stated that the film should be pulled and not viewed by the public until it was edited and until they believed it was suitable for viewing. As a direct result, the movie bombed in China. I believe it only made a little under $3 million. And this movie was set to be the next full release in China for Tarantino. Again, it was set to come out on October 25th, which is next Friday, until this came down. Now, whether or not it would have gotten pulled anyway, a lot like Django Unchained, is very much up in the air. Very possible it could have. But the point is that Tarantino refused to bend the knee. And that's something that a lot more people in Hollywood should be trying to do. You don't want to appease China. China is a country with human rights violations that are longer than Santa's wish list. Okay? China is a horrible, horrible government that constantly suppresses their own population. We have horror stories that come out of China. What little information we do have, what actually happens there is probably a million times worse. But the Chinese are not stupid. They understand that the reason why they do that type of stuff is in order to keep their people subservient, because they don't want them to have freedom. They don't want them to be able to say and do whatever they want, like Americans can. And that's why they limit the amount of American films that go into China. But this is a low key way of altering our entertainment industry and limiting our free speech. Because if we have to limit our free speech to go and send movies over to China, guess what? Most movie studios are not going to cut two different versions of a film, because that costs money, by the way. Most studios are not going to cut two different versions of a film for a Chinese and an American release. They're just going to try and make one if they can, which is what they've done with multiple blockbusters. There's a famous line from Michael Bay during the filming of one of the Transformers movies, I think it was the second one, where he literally had to cut a line out because he said that's not going to fly in China. And it would have been fine in the US, nobody would have cared. But he thought the line wasn't going to fly in China, so they cut it. That's what your entertainment industry is. Your entertainment industry is a paper thin facade over a bunch of money grubbing assholes that all they want is Chinese money. And thank you, Quentin Tarantino, for not bending the knee, for saying, fuck you, I'm going to make my movie my way, and you can go fuck yourselves. And he's literally said, it's a take it or leave it thing. If you want to watch the movie, you're going to watch the movie that I made. You're not going to watch the movie that you want to censor for people. This is the movie that I made. If you don't like it, the Americans love it. We'll keep it over here. We don't give a shit. And keep in mind, it's projected that that movie was going to make over $40 million in China on its release, which would have been by far Tarantino's biggest opening in China ever. Again, Django was the only other movie that he had that had a wide opening, even though it was pulled initially, and that only made a little under 3. So you're looking at, what is that, probably about a 1,300% increase in revenue. But again, it's no secret that Hollywood has been trying to pander to China for years, because it's essentially, China is the final frontier as far as box office goes. If American cinemas know that they can get China's money, they can utilize that 1 point whatever billion people that are there, and they can get that money, then they're going to try their hardest to do it because they want the money. But at the same time, Hollywood likes to act like they're a moral compass. And if you're going to be a moral compass, you can't say, I'm going to kneel and beg for money from from governments that murder their own citizens on a regular basis. That is not how you do shit. Okay? And again, I have to hand it to Tarantino. Look, if you're going to watch this movie in this country, you're going to watch the movie that I made. You're not going to censor it. And if you're going to censor it and you don't want to show it, then it's not getting shown. And like I said, it's refreshing to see somebody say that. And I expect it to come from Tarantino, because Tarantino in the past has been very anti-establishment in a lot of ways, and he's fought back in a lot of cases involving certain things involving his films. And I think that what he's saying now is something that should be reiterated by other directors and other studios in Hollywood, where they say, look, we're not going to bend the knee to China. We're not going to say that we're going to censor our art, that we're going to censor our films just specifically for them, so that they can do whatever because they think that it's detrimental to their country. Okay? If you don't want to show it, then don't show it. If you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. I guarantee you it's going to be out on all the pirated torrent sites as soon as it comes out on DVD, and the Chinese are going to fucking see it anyway, so it's not going to matter. But that's my opinion on this whole thing, is that Tarantino, my hat's off to him. They came to him and they said, look, you got to censor this, and he said, fuck you. And I think that's what a lot of entertainment industry people should be saying right now. I think the NBA should be saying fuck you. I think Blizzard should be saying fuck you, but they're not, and it's sad they're not, because maybe more people will follow Tarantino's example, and I hope so. I hope they do, because I think ultimately it's better for American cinema, and I think it's better for cinema as a whole to not go down that route, because censorship is bad in a lot of cases. Very, very, very rarely can you find a situation where censorship is actually a good thing. Um, and again, that's just my opinion, but I want to know yours. Do you think that the film should have been edited and released? Do you think that they were dumb to leave that money on the table? Do you think that Tarantino? Do you think, like me, that Tarantino's right in saying that he's not going to re-edit his film just because some people don't like it, or some governments don't like it? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I'd like to know what you're thinking. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?